Hello and welcome to a video with a really bad introduction so far. Um, so I don't like making videos on the fly like this, but there's some things you probably know about coming up with a new character and two reworks that I wanted to discuss briefly today. So I'm going to put a disclaimer out there and tell you right now, this is me talking about balance. So if you don't like opinions of like orange attack bad, then I maybe not the video for you. Today I'm gonna be talking about my expectations for the upcoming reworks for Lawbringer and Raider, which, as of recording this, are just a few days away, I believe. I'm not too sure. I'm kind of trying to rush this out because of that. It feels really sloppy. I realize that, but I feel inclined to talk a little bit about these characters because I feel like their changes are going to be the difference between having two new characters I can enjoy and play in 4v4 and play tournaments with and stuff, or it's going to be, my two 33 rep heroes on the shelf for pretty much forever because let's face it, I'm gonna be very pessimistic. I'm gonna say this right now. Ubisoft is better at making new characters than reworks. I don't even believe, like, I know a lot of people say, oh, Kensei is the standard of balance. Like, to me, Kensei is a high recovery, clunky, big dodge attack character with a really good zone for clearing minions and brawls. And he has 600 MS sidelights that do 12 damage, a top heavy that could be option selected to, stop his opener. But I'm going off on a tangent. I feel like people say Kensei is the standard balance because he doesn't push any offense onto somebody. He doesn't feel oppressive, and that if nothing is going to challenge your ability to defend, then you can't really call it an opener, really, can you? There's pretty much no reason to have 6 MS lights in this game, and I know a lot of people probably agree with that, but at the same time, I feel there's a lot of individuals who play this game have characters they think that are, standard or balance, whatever, that really do have really shitty high recovery chains that are really slow, like Kensei. And why is this relevant to the discussion? Because that's what I'm afraid I'm going to be seeing with the Lawbringer and Raider rework. That's my biggest concerns. There are a lot of players that not necessarily have lower expectations, but pretty much don't want want their character to attack as much because, guess attacking in For Honor is taboo. It really, there's a lot of members of this community that immediately dismiss suggestions for new attacks because they might be oppressive or something along those lines. People don't like attacks. And for me, it's kind of fun playing the stupid ass punish characters like Raider and Lawbringer. I kind of like it, honestly. It's kind of fun to stare at people and to just take half their health in one punish. And I don't think a lot of people like me are willing to admit that, or they legitimately play those characters for other reasons, but that's probably why I like playing them in 1v1s at the moment. I have no ambitions of landing an epic Lawbringer mix-up, other than when I meme around and throw zones, but that's besides the point. But what I would like to see in For Honor is less emphasis on this combo that will never land and does like 50 quadrillion damage, or this cool unique defensive move, and more emphasis on attacks, playing the actual game. I honestly don't see that with your standard or balance quote unquote Kensei. And with this in mind, it kind of wavers my confidence in what I'll see from the Raider and Lawbringer rework. Looking at Lawbringer especially, you don't really have a lot to build an offensive kit off. He's probably, my guess, he's just going to have some new chains, 500 MS sidelights, and he's still going to be this high recovery piece of garbage, and he's going to have a hyper armor chain drowse, and it'll be all fixed, dude. He'll be perfect. And maybe they'll slap some, like, pommel strike equivalent and be like, oh, he has this one thing he could almost attack somebody with, so he's good, guys. Then he's going to be, like, a pretty underwhelming average dual hero that doesn't really exceed a high level. Even worse would be completely gutting the 4v4 capabilities of Raider and Lawbringer. You saw that happen with Valkyrie and to some extent Shigoki. They literally haven't improved much in terms of their reworks. I don't care what people think about Shigoki. Shigoki is not effective. He's not good. Like, it's an okay rework. It's a cool design, but I don't even think the mix-up's that good. I don't even think you need to roll from it. I don't think it's that strong. When I picture the expected outcome for this Lawbringer and Raider rework, I kind of look at Valkyrie, Kensei, and Shigoki, and I can kind of see where it might go, and that kind of concerns me in a way, because I feel like they all have these chains that are just, you know, you throw them out there, and you're stuck in recovery for absurd amount of time. Like, Kensei's unblockable heavy finish recovery is like almost 2,000 MS, and so is Shigoki's Demon's Embrace. Valkyrie's Sweep can still be guard broke by a non-stamina opponent after dodging. Like, those are things I do not want to see on a Lawbringer Raider rework. I don't want Raider to have an enhanced zone that doesn't recovery cancel or anything. Like, I want more, you know, either less recovery or more recovery cancels, so you could, like, be more dynamic with the game. Not like, oh, I whiffed an attack, I'm gonna be in recovery for this amount of time and just die instantly. And I honestly don't think that most of you want that either, even though you probably don't even think about it, I'm sure. Like, I don't want the reworks to be good for a week and then everyone to realize they're garbage and then move on to the other top 5 characters they play in duels. Let me try to shoehorn this video into something a little more structured by breaking down what I need to see in both Raider and Lawbringer respectively for the reworks to be good, in my opinion. First thing I would do for Lawbringer, which would help a lot, would be making his dodge attack guarantee damage. It would have like a damage riposte, just like any other bash. The side ones could remain at the same speed. Change the dash startup of the forward one, so maybe you could land it. I don't know. It's not a big priority to me. I don't think most people want to bash Lawbringer anybody. Dude, I used to like Lawbringer until they turned him into a bash spam bandwagon character. Anyway, I think one thing I want to see is Shove move away from the heavy punishes, because then you could make Shove mix up stronger without risking giving Lawbringer practically more guaranteed damage off of every punish. What I'm saying is he can't chain Shoves after landed heavies, but he can chain them after blocked heavies. So in a way, it's more like if you're trying to just block Lawbringer heavies, he's going to be able to flow into a mix-up, you know? And from there, I could say maybe make the Shove follow-ups faster to enforce this pressure and make them track more so they don't get beat by people back dodging on Indicator. Second thing, Impale off heavy parry needs to go. I don't know why Impale off heavy parry is 20 damage anyway, even though the neutral one is 15. I don't know why it's like that. Like, oh, you know, they didn't get anything from their Impale punish. Oh no, they're going to miss out on 5 damage. We better make it 20 to be with the same as the other heavy parry. No, it doesn't make any sense. Impale parry is very problematic at the moment, and I feel like it should only be on light parries, and it should go down to 15, and then you would still have a pretty whopping light parry punish too, but it would be a little bit more not stupid. I don't know. Ad Mortem should probably go down to 40 or 35, honestly, and then if you want to get the old damage, you use the Impale punish. Realistically, the things I hear people say is like, oh dude, you can never find a wall to get the punish on, or it's too much stamina. First of all, Impale has like 100 feet of range, so you're pretty much going to find a wall on majority of dual maps. And it's not hard to position yourself to hit a wall every time. Secondly, stamina pressure doesn't exist in For Honor because you can just unlock in 1v1s and walk away from your opponent and regain stamina, which is a problem, which I hope they are addressing at some point, but that's another issue entirely. Lawbringer's lack of offense never justified this amount of guaranteed damage on a punish. Now this becomes an even bigger problem with just how much HP Lawbringer has. He has 150 HP, which is the biggest HP pool in the game. So it's a very downsided matchup for a lot of characters, especially characters who have focuses on chain offense. And I don't know why I didn't mention this before, but I'm sure I don't really need to anyway, but we should expect Shove on Block to be gone. I probably don't even need to mention that. But it really ruins the ability to attack Lawbringer for a lot of characters and getting the chain. So I think that's a must. I think most of you can agree on that. The only thing I'm not sure about changing on Lawbringer objectively is his Impale gank. Now, at the moment, I will say this confidently, Impale gank is probably the best gank in the game. And for the half of you that are currently screaming at me, and the other half that are quietly in discontent, I'm going to give a quick little explanation and compare it to the other ganks. Now, with Raider gank in particular, the gank initiation for Raider gank is block stun, which means the opponent is basically stuck in a blocking or parrying animation, and therefore they can't dodge the Stampede charge. Now, this is a reason why people see Stampede charge is stronger than Impale, because when you guys go play matchmaking, you're going to see a lot of people just slamming random heavies in people's guard, which helps set up a Stampede, which that's not how Lawbringer gank works, and that's not how people play in tournaments and stuff. And not as many people can figure out that you're supposed to long arm after a wall splat. I see Lawbringers in MM get impales all the time and just do top heavies, and it really bothers me. So I guess the utility of that is lost on them as well. But a big reason why Stampede is weaker is because you can't initiate it at point blank like Lawbringer's charge. So that means if an opponent just sticks as close to the Raider as possible, they literally can't charge. So you can't initiate the gank. Also, if the opponent, because what we talked about with setting up ganks by block stunning, or in the case of Lawbringer, which would be guard breaking for the Impale. So what you could do is unlock roll, and those work against both those options, against the block stun that confirms the charge and the guard break. Now, Lawbringer, if he keeps sprinting after the person has rolled from the guard break, he can impale them. Raider can't do that. He can't force a roll. He can't catch a roll with Stampede. It's just not going to happen. Shaman can do similar things that the Impale gank can do, but the difference is the damage output. There's no damage resistance on Impale, the whole entire point they're on the Impale. There's no damage resistance on the long arm portion if you get the wall splat, so there's a lot more damage potential than Shamans, and that means potentially less revenge, even though currently when we're playing 44 tournaments at the moment and scrims, there's no revenge on, but in general it's still probably better. Yeah, but I kind of went off on a tangent here, and what I want to say really is I don't know what to do to the Impale gank, other than, I don't know, putting damage resistance on the Impale portion, because I don't know, I would say it's kind of unfair, the gank itself, but at the same time it does have some type of active counterplay in some ways. There's kind of a minor skill gap to it, I guess, but I guess that's why people see their stupid parry punishes as justifiable, because I hit the heavy button, the flashy light, so you lose 30 of health. Maybe it's the same logic. I don't know. Most Lawbringer players don't know how to do the Impale gank anyway, so it wouldn't be a loss to them if it got gutted, but if it did get gutted, that would mean there's potential that Lawbringer could just fall completely out of favor in the 4v4 meta. which he's been pretty prominent in. Even the worst iteration of Lawbringer has had some use in 4v4 meta. And he could have potential as a mid-clear character, even if his zone gets sped up. Like, if he had a 600 or, for God knows why, even a 500 MS zone. In its current state, it has, like, pretty much no recovery. And you can... What you do in mid lane is you lock onto the minions, so it's unparryable. So then you basically have a safe zone you could use in mid, and you could play mid lane, similar how Nobushi and Kensei does, because that's what we do when we play competitive. We have a guy who sits mid lane, because mid lane is very balanced and it gains a lot of renown. So you designate your Kensei or Nobushi, and I feel like if Lawbringer's zone got sped up, he could fit into this category as well. I don't know if that's a good direction for him, but we'll see. That's just a theory. Okay, no, I'm not doing that. Other than that, that's going to cover most of my opinions on what I think Lawbringer needs. I don't think some neutral hyper armor heavy or some heavy chain or, you know, some basic unblockable with abysmal recovery that does like 40 damage or something, you know, probably rarely land and be beat by dodge rolls or backstepping. That's what I want to avoid. I know I'm kind of a hypocrite here because I basically suggested the Kensei soft feints in my rework video that covered Lawbringer, but I really don't have any ideas for it, honestly, man. I do think it's, like I said earlier, it's a hard base to work off of, but I know what I don't want, and I don't want a standard or balanced Kensei, air quotes. But I think I've talked about tall armored parryman enough today, and I want to move on to the last part of the video on Raider. What do I have in mind for Raider? What would make me happy? I think what I would like in a Raider rework is the ability to cancel the recovery on the enhanced zone. I don't really have a care for undodgeable stunning tap. I don't mind that people can dodge under the mix-up. I just think that it shouldn't be recovery fodder that you get guard broke on if you whiff it. Even like if you had a 500 MS undodgeable stun tap, I would probably be able to just wait past the feint window and dodge under it like I normally do. And I don't want that to be a thing, or I at least want to have counterplay against that. I don't want to like play the game of, oh, does he eat this because he's going to try to wait it out to the last second, or does he know how to play the video game and, you know, dodge left on the right timing and make me look like an idiot. I can only really think of more of quality of life changes to Raider's kit rather than a cool gimmick, but, you know, it's just the same thing you just expect. You know, 500 MS stun tap, 500 MS neutral lights with new light chains that don't have absurd recovery. The current Raider light chain not only can't be mixed up with heavies, so you can't like molly anybody, first of all. It gets slower in chain. It goes 600, 600, 700. They do 15 damage, and they have some of the most awful recovery I've ever seen. Like, it's probably one of the worst light chains in the game. I know I'm mentioning bad recovery a lot throughout this video, but it's just something I'm concerned about looking at, like the Valkyrie rework, who still has, you know, at the end of her chain, it's just a free guard break and there's no counterplay on her end. So I want to avoid that. I hope that doesn't happen. As a Tiandi player at the moment, and as a Warlord player too, these are the things I hate most, is just getting in my chain recovery and just feeling paralyzed for half a second. So part of my idea of what I want Raider to be is just bigger Berserker, really. So that's what I think of when I have dash canceling out recovery. He would have an option to... one idea I had was to do dash stun tap, even do dash guard break. Dash guard break would have to be adjusted. You shouldn't be able to do the dash guard break on the full duration of the dodge, just the most buffered one. I think it would be a little more fair if it was like that. That would be the only way I could justify keeping it. The other idea I had that was slightly similar to Berserker is having a parry riposte, like Berserker has, and like Lawbringer has too, but using Raider stun tap, and it would flow into his stun tap follow-up chains, which I like the way they look, but they do need some improvements as well. I think pretty much all of Lawbringer and Raiders' chain attacks are not good. Yeah. Just like Lawbringer, though, you'll probably have to have the overall damage of Raiders' attacks decreased. I don't think a enhanced zone, even with full hyper armor, necessarily needs that big of a damage adjustment. Maybe even none, honestly, because it's not like a JJ unblockable. It doesn't track people far away, so I don't think it'd be as effective as a unblockable setup gank. Maybe I'm wrong, but whatever. I'm more concerned about guaranteed damage from punishes, like his light parries. I don't like 40 damage heavies off light parry. Those are kind of annoying. He also has some pretty intricate throw combos, which are a big contributing factor to his only strengths in duel is the dodge guard break and the punishes that follow after it. You know, you can get like a 40 damage wall splat heavy or your 90 damage max punish. Those are pretty good, you gotta admit. Now we're going to address the elephant in the room. We talked about briefly with the Lawbringer Impale gank, and Raider is very similar in that regard with his Stampede gank, and I think a lot of people have some animosity for the Stampede charge, aka the Toxic Tackle. Yeah, it can be pretty annoying at times. I understand a lot of people's opinions on it. I think it's an easier fix than LB's Impale. I'm gonna assume they're just gonna make it interruptible like Shigoki's. I don't know if that's going to gut Raider in 4v4 meta. It's really hard to determine the strength of ganks and where they should be, because at the moment Revenge is completely busted, as in not only does it not function correctly, when it does function, it is incredibly overtuned and gives too much advantage to the person being ganked. Now, on the flip side, when we're playing in scrims and tournaments, there's no Revenge, so ganking is a lot stronger. Like, it's objectively stronger. It's really hard to get a feel of what strong ganks are justified. What is the better of two evils here? Because the state of Revenge is just so stupid that I couldn't give an opinion on if there should be these like one-shot insta-lock ganks like this. I do know for certain that Revenge lock should still be present even though it's interruptible. That's something I don't want to see go away. People should not be able to pop Revenge out of CC like that. Like, confirmed damage should not be thrown away because the opponent has the epic Faram orange bar available, and even worse, punishing the opponent for, you know, a Revenge bar they have no idea is filled. I think overall Stampede is a lot easier, not to make more balanced necessarily, as I just previously discussed, but less frustrating, which is probably more preferred, honestly. Overall, I'm just going to assume, honestly, I don't like being the guy that killed the hype train. I really don't. I want these characters to be good, but I firmly believe that these reworks are not going to be good. I would love to be proven wrong, like I said earlier, but I do firmly believe that. You know, they've already stopped doing workshops a long time ago. The newest hero that's coming out isn't workshop tested, so these are the same testers that are within the company of Ubisoft that let Blackbriar go with his out of stamina light bash bug on release and stuff, and the 300 MS guard switch delay he has that's still not fixed or something. And you might be able to expect that from the new hero that's coming out on the same time. So, and kind of nearing towards the end here, but I think there's more problems than For Honor that most people do not even dawn on. And I'm kind of becoming less apologetic for people who are complaining about X spam of whatever attack or something. I'm getting to the point where I don't even think about attacks as being OP, even the strongest ones in the game. I feel like you shouldn't be able to negate every mix-up by knowing how to counter it. Like, I don't even care about the people who are like, oh, but I play on a stone tablet, dude, and I only get 5 hieroglyphs per hour, dude. I can't react to, you know, Raider chain lights. They're just, I'm tired of light spam, bro. I'm not even going to care about that argument anymore. It's just, what is even spam anymore? Like, you get hit by the same attack from neutral a couple times, and then what? You stare at them for another 4 minutes? It's like, can we just get other ways to attack? Can we stop being so afraid of, you know, offense being good? Just some food for thought. I really want to break the stigma that unreactable mix-ups are a bad thing and that they shouldn't be in the game. And I will side with some of you guys out there, like, yeah, bashes are boring, Warden, Conquer, all that. It's boring. Sure, I agree. I think there's ways to improve offense other than just making bash soft feints and stuff, but I don't think a neutral unblockable heavy or something like that is good pressure. I don't think some stupid ass soft feint or whatever makes it any better either. I think if there's too many ways to negate it and not enough counterplay to it, then that's a problem. Even for some of the best characters in the game, that's a problem. And these are the things I don't want to see on the Raider and Lawbringer reworks. And I think that's a good way to wrap up this video. I know it was very poorly organized and probably didn't even get what I wanted to say out there entirely. I did this just on a whim with no script, with a general idea, and it feels very unprofessional. I don't like doing stuff like these, so you won't see something like this a lot. I'd rather be making videos that I would rewatch in the future, that are memorable to me, and I'm sure they're memorable for you guys as well. At the moment, I'm trying to get my blood pressure together, go through adjusting my sleep schedule with dialysis, and it's been very difficult to find the time where I'm motivated to work on videos that have any type of thought to them other than just me rambling on right now. So I apologize if this was your long-awaited upload for me. It's unfortunately not. I will try to do better. Thank you all for listening to my spiel. The old shebang, like, subscribe, whatever YouTubers say. Send me money so I can go buy Imperator Rome. I don't even like asking for money, but whatever. I'm unemployed. I just gotta fess up to it. But I really do appreciate all the channel support, and I will actually make a video. Promise. Eventually. Thank you all so much for watching, and Lamau get bodied.